Welcome back, everyone. Today we're going to talk about Genesis 3, verse 20. And the man called his wife's name Chavah, Eve, because she was the mother of all the living. This verse, seemingly straightforward, conceals profound esoteric and midrashic meaning. Both the Zohar and Midrash treat this as a moment of spiritual recognition and prophetic restoration, a pivot from judgment to redemption, from fragmentation to the promise of continuity. Here, Adam names his wife Chavah, which signifies a deeper reconnection with life, purpose, and divine feminine archetype. The first phrase we have, and the man called his wife's name Chavah, reinstating her identity. The Zohar teaches that names reflect essence. Adam, in naming her Chavah, is not inventing a label but recognizing her inner root. Before this, she was known simply as the woman, bound to her relation to Adam. Now she is identified in her own right as the source of life. He looked into her soul and saw the stream of souls that would come through her. This moment marks the spiritual elevation of the feminine principle, Malkuth or Shekinah, from her descent in the sin into her role in bringing redemption through birth. The Zohar sees this naming as a tikkun, repair of the previous disruption between masculine and feminine energies. The Midrash emphasizes that Adam gives her the name not in despair, but in hope. Immediately after the curse of death, he affirms that life will continue through her. The name Chavah is related to Hayah, which means life. The sages teach that Adam prophetically saw that life and the future of humanity would arise through her womb. The next phrase we have, because she was the mother of all the living. Prophetic vision of continuity. This phrase is not just biological, it is cosmic. Chavah becomes the archetype of the Shekinah, the divine presence that births soul into the world. Chavah is the mother not only of flesh, but of neshamot, souls. The Zohar links this to Binah, the supernal mother, who births the lower worlds. Thus, Eve becomes a channel for spiritual influx, despite the earlier sin. Her designation as Mother of all the living affirms that the divine plan is not broken, only concealed. The Midrash says Eve is mother not only of humans, but of life itself. For even animals and spirits that multiply do so by virtue of the original feminine archetype of Chavah. She becomes a symbol of nurturing, continuity, and healing. One Midrash beautifully says, though death entered through her hands, life will come through her womb. This encapsulates the paradox. Eve was involved in the fall, but she will be the channel of redemption. The hidden mercy and restoration behind the verse. In naming her Chavah, Adam performs a spiritual rectification. He reaffirms their union, blesses her new role, and shifts from blame to honor. This is a Kabbalistic movement from Geburah to Tiferet, from judgment to compassion. He crowned her with the name of the Mother, and so restored balance to the world. Some sages note that the name Chavah comes from after God has judged and forgiven them, indicating that naming can be an act of faith. By calling her Mother of all living, Adam confesses his trust in divine mercy that life shall go on. The mystical connection to the tree of life, both traditions point out a mystical wordplay. Chavah shares root with Chayah, which means life. The tree of life is the antidote to the tree of knowledge. The Zohar hints through Eve, through the path of spiritual motherhood, nurturing, and rectified feminine energy, the tree of life will be accessed again. To summarize, Genesis 3 verse 20 seems simple, but in Zoharic and Midrashic tradition, it marks a spiritual turning point, a reorientation from death to life. The phrase, "and the man called his wife's name Chavah," after judgment, Adam looks upon his wife and recognizes her soul. Naming her Chavah, Eve, reflects her true role, not a source of failure, but the bearer of life and redemption. The phrase, "because she was the mother of all the living," Eve is more than a biological mother. She becomes the feminine archetype of all who give life, nurturing both physical and spiritual continuity. The Zohar links her to the Shekinah, the divine presence. The Midrash adds, "This naming is a statement of hope. Though death was decreed, life will continue through her." Adam transformed sorrow into prophecy. Thus, Genesis 3 verse 20 is the seed of redemption. Eve is lifted, not blamed. The feminine is restored, not rejected. Life begins again, even in exile. Through this name, the door to healing, birth, and eventual return to Eden is quietly open. That's it for today. Thank you very much for your donation. Be blessed, everyone, and I will see you on the next episode.